on some level, probably the most fundamental problem that we all have to deal with is that I'm not enough.
Right.
That statement is the key, let's say, pain that all of the other crap that we have to deal with kind of stems from. I'm not enough as I am, right? And then we open social media and there's a lot of evidence to suggest, looking at everyone's lives, because as you put in that post, or the author of that post wrote, it's the highlights of people's lives, okay? I mean,
best part.
Raise your hands, and I will do this. Do we really post the dark side of our lives on social media? To a certain extent, yes. But like, I would say for the most part, we're posting the highlights. Even when we post the things, the dark side of our lives, we're still posting it in a way that portrays us as being good. You know, I'm so brave that I can go on social media with no makeup, or I'm so brave that I can express my feelings, or being authentic. So no matter how we do it, we're still portraying this image of ourselves that we want other people to see and approve of. Whatever, like, take the shame out of it. Whatever post we're putting there, whether it's spreading positivity or whatever, is that we have a sense of like, I want to put this out there and prove something about myself. So we're all doing it. And on the flip side, we're also all comparing. Like, literally, because one of the things that I'm doing at the moment is, you know, setting up my business and you know, planning my YouTube and things like that. And I've had to go onto social media these days with like blinkers on. Otherwise, I just get completely demoralized, because everyone's already doing loads of stuff on social media, and it's like,
I know what you're feeling. I know completely how you're feeling right now.
It's like it reminds me of when I was, you know, competing as an athlete, and sometimes it would be just you watching other people come through and do all this stuff and be amazing, and you think, and sometimes there's that tendency
to swing faster now.
Exactly. It can go either way. It can go like, right, I'm gonna do it more, depending on what my vibration is. I'm gonna do it, and it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I'm gonna do it my way and do it like 100% with my all my, let's say, strength and ability. Or I go the other way and say like, well, why should I even bother? Because they're just gonna beat me anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely triggering that, because athletes, I think, are like the ultimate you know, in the comparison sense, because you're literally competing. But the interesting thing about this for me is that I find, and I have found over the years, that the best that I would ever race was when I literally just completely blinkered like a horse. And that would be the best I'd ever swim, because I was relaxed. The second I look either way, I'm not centered in myself. So every stroke I took wasn't me, really. It was all about everyone else, and all about the pressure, and all about the expectations. So it's just as what we were talking about here, is being authentic to ourselves. And we can only do that when we don't look at anyone else, right? Because they can live their life the way that they, you know, the best way for them, and only you can live your life the best way for you. The second you start trying to compare and copying what you see and what you portray through all your mental filters, it just falls apart. You can never live whoever you're comparing yourself, you can never live their life. You can't. So live your life the best that you can. We're going to have those moments that we're going to compare ourselves. So I think maybe when you find yourself doing that online, when you see a post, it makes you feel, I don't know, inadequate, not doing enough, I'm not enough. Maybe like we're talking about with the gratitude machine, oh, I'm not grateful enough, I'm not positive enough, something like that. Then just notice it. And then once you've noticed it, rather than going down the self-criticism cycle of I'm just comparing myself, now I'm not enough because I'm comparing myself to others. So break the cycle, and I think just come up with a simple like phrase that you can say to yourself. Like for me, I just always go back to this phrase that we had in swimming, which is swim your own race. And it just
I love it.
Swim your own race. Blinkers on. The reason why everything fell apart when I was looking to the left, looking to the right, was because I was no longer, my energy was no longer in my own race. It was in other people's race. Because as we learn here, we're all conscious souls, is that where our attention is essentially where we are, you know, even if not physically. So you're putting yourself in that other person's, if it's a swimming race, their body or in their lives, and it doesn't fit. You know, you can't fit yourself into someone else's life, so it won't work for you. It's
Totally.
the thing that's the most interesting that I've seen is that if ever you're seeing someone being really successful, you know, social media, things like that, it's because they are completely in their own zone, swimming their own race, being authentic to them. That's why they're appealing to other people, attracting to other people, because they're just centered in themselves, so they're attractive. So if you could just do that with you, with yourself, and swim your own race, put all of your energy into yourself, you would be attractive too. You would have the same success. So when you notice that you're doing that and you're comparing yourself to others, realize that this is not serving you, okay? Turn back into your own lane and swim your own race. It's like essentially come up with your own, maybe swim your own race or stay in the lane or something like that, or blinkers on, some sort of phrase that you can remember to remind yourself that if you're comparing yourself to others, it's not serving you as like really at all. Maybe a tiny bit initially, like Jean was saying, oh, that's inspiring, or maybe that's a great idea, I can implement it, but that's it. As soon as that is over, then you get straight back in your own lane again and carry on.
Right.
Because the thing
100%.
with the swimming, the thing that I found too is how could I swim like someone else, right? How could I copy their technique and everything? Because how they're swimming is completely dependent on their physique, their body type, their metabolism, everything to do with themselves. There's so many factors to take into account just in the body when we're doing any kind of sport. So imagine now in their life. How are they living their life? How are they being successful? Well, imagine just how many factors that have gone into making that person who they are and why they're successful. You can't possibly replicate that. So just focus on yourself, put all of your energy into yourself. The only person you should be comparing yourself with is you, like yesterday, a week ago, a year ago. Are you improving? Because then you're moving in the right direction. Yes, sure, we've got that like standard norm for what is like looking amazing body-wise. And then you've also got those people who just maybe aren't that traditional Western view of perfect body, perfect looks, but there's something about them that they just bring and own themselves and own their body and just stand and be like, here I am, and they look really attractive because of it. Because if you were to zoom in and start focusing on that, yeah, sure, it's not traditional, but there's something really magnetic and attractive with them. So the same thing, if you were just to own your own body, own your own physique, and accept it, and be like, here I am, and I think I look amazing, I don't care what anyone else thinks, you naturally look much more attractive because of that. So that's
right.
too.